Okay, girl, I think I have a general understanding of traumatic brain injuries. Okay, because I was like, today I woke up and I was like, okay, we, I need to really understand these brain injuries because it's like really, it's like such a pressure point for me. Okay, all right, so it's we're just starting with traumatic brain injuries. Okay, so you have some kind of like initial trauma, right? So this is kind of like a blunt force trauma for the most part. Um, so some kind of like trauma to the head leads to a traumatic brain injury. So a traumatic brain injury, these are going to be the primary or direct results of that. So like let's say um, you know, someone slams a hammer into your head. The injury that occurs directly from the hammer is the primary. So it can be focal, which focal just means like it's local. So if someone like slammed the head of a hammer into my left temporal lobe, I would have a focal injury to my left temporal lobe. Diffuse means that it's like it affects more than one brain area. So if they slam the hammer into my temporal lobe, it could also like affect my parietal lobe or my occipital lobe, right? Like if I had like a brain bleed or something. So when we have a focal injury, there's two different kinds of focal brain injuries we can have. We can have a blunt injury, which is also called a closed injury. So blunt injuries are like hammer hits your head, right? Someone strikes a hammer against your head. This can lead to a contusion, which is like just basically like a bruise. And the contusion can be in the form of an extradural hematoma, a subdural hematoma, or an intracranial hematoma. So intracranial hematoma is like when you have your classic brain bleed. This one, subdural hematoma, is like above the arachnoid, which is like the middle web. And this one is like in between like the skull and the dura mater, which is the outer layering. So head strike can be like basically a bruise that becomes one of these three types of hematomas, or like let's say you're in an accident and your head whips forward, you can have a diffuse axonal injury, which is basically when you remember those axons. So the axons are like the little tails which make the white matter. So this is a white matter brain injury. So basically, like if your head like whips back and forth, and they become sheared. So like imagine like something like they are shaken so intensely that they literally get sheared in half. That would be a diffuse axonal injury. Um, all right, so the other type of focal injury, which remember is just like a local, like literally directly to the local point of contact, you can have a penetrating, which is also an open injury. So this is like if you get shot in the head and so your skull gets fractured and it penetrates the brain. So that's literally the big idea. So all of these types of injuries can lead to secondary brain injuries that are related to the primary injury, but they're basically complications of these things. So, like if you have a stroke or a concussion or something along those lines, it's not a direct result of the primary injury, but it is a consequence of it. Okay, I hope that helps because, like, honestly, like, I just took some time to just like break it down this morning. I'm like, okay, this is starting to make a little more sense. Oh my God.